Not only in 2024 is this so disgusting and disrespectful, but this needs to be pulled off the shelves.
This should be a crime. This is what we get when we ask to be included in the beauty industry.
Which side of my face is the blackface paint or the Youthforia foundation? You can't tell. You know why? Tar in a bottle. This is jet black face paint, and this is the darkest shade of the Youthforia Date Night foundation. This is blackface paint. This is the darkest shade of the Youthforia foundation. I'm gonna apply some of the foundation on this side of my face so you guys can see. Let's just go ahead and try to blend this out, you guys. Enough. Who is that color? This is the darkest shade of the Youthforia foundation. This is blackface paint. Sometimes it's okay to say, hey, maybe my brand is not made for complexions. When we say that we want you guys to make shades for us, we don't mean to go to the lab and ask for minstrel show black. What we mean is to take the browns that you have made, create undertones, and do what you need to do in the lab so it's a darker shade of brown.
So today we're talking about Youthforia, a makeup brand that has had 2 failed attempts at inclusivity, and the recent one is the worst one yet.
Hi, I'm Fiona Ko Chan.
And that is the owner of the makeup company we're talking about today.
Youthforia. Makeup you can sleep in.
This company was launched in 2021 with a release of a few foundation shades to the public. After which she went to a Shark Tank, which is basically a show where you pitch your products or company and then you would have investors invest in your company.
When I first started the business, I just started making TikToks. Pretty much within 2 weeks, we started gaining some traction.
And she was doing this while using black women for advertisement, among others, even though she didn't actually carry enough shares for black people. And at this time, most black women are already talking about how the foundation shares were not that inclusive, with this being the darkest shade. She then went on to address this in an apology video saying,
It's always my intention to launch this as a proof of concept, see if people even liked the base formula, figure out if the entire project is such a flop that we have to start over and everything that we've ordered just goes into landfill.
So she's basically saying she wasn't sure that the launch was going to be successful, and that's why she didn't want to put out so many shades. Yet, even though she was already planning on doing that even before the launch, so she says. But that to me just seemed like a defense excuse somebody would use when they are called out. You know how when you call out somebody and they're like, oh, I was already thinking about that. No, you weren't. You're just saying that because I called you out.
You got a deal.
Done.
Anyway, that goes well. She gets Mark Cuban to invest. And now that she has all this money and this connection, you would think she would do a better job. But no, we get this instead.
Foundation is just too dark.
There's such a difference between the last 2 darkest shades, and yet I can't tell the difference between at least 5 of the lightest shades.
This is the darkest shades, shade 600, and as you guys can see in the bottle, literally jet black. The shade right next to it is shade 590. This is what it looks like in the bottle. Here is shade 600. You guys, there could be like 10 more shades in between these 2 shades. How on earth did we go from this shade to this shade?
The 2 darkest shades. I'm applying now the 600 foundation. The foundation is just too dark.
Now, a lot of people claim that she was only calm about this because she was actually getting paid. This was a sponsored video, which she has since deleted. Now, whether or not she didn't know that there was something wrong going on here, or she knew but still decided to take her money and leave, is to be debated another day. What I don't understand is how you, a person that's been doing makeup for a long time, still can't realize that there's something wrong here and this doesn't look like skin.
So get your hands on it. You better hurry up and go get it.
And you're still going to push it on your fans.
It's every man for himself.
There's no undertone, no depth, no dimension, and that's a problem. It goes far beyond it just being damn near black. All that being said, obviously there are darker people than me. That was never something that I argued. I'm comparing the shade to black face paint because the shade literally lacks color at all because it's flat. It would not complement any skin tone, let alone the one that they're marketing it for. As you can see in these pictures, these don't even match the model that they're putting it on. Prior to that, the swatch page with all of the models literally just had a blank swatch of shade 600 and all of the other shades had models. So was this shade even tested on dark skin or did you just lazily put it out there? When I thought it couldn't get worse, the model that she actually decided to put on there, she street casted in Dubai, swatched both of the foundations on this model, and of course the shades didn't match because 590 was too warm and 600 was literally black. And then she went to go get pictures from a Passport Center photo booth and used that picture as a swatch reference. So,
is she the darkest woman in America? Because I don't see her in the Guinness Book of World Records. But see, if I say it like that, that sounds a little racist, don't it? What y'all are telling me on the internet is that nobody this shade range of the Youthforia deserves to wear makeup. That's what y'all are saying. And y'all are trying to make it seem as though Youthforia should just completely take it out. If she was the darkest woman here in America, I would need to see her in the Guinness Book of World Records. That way we, as a group, can collectively identify what is considered the darkest shade in skin. Do we need to do it like that? Because if we do it like that, y'all are gonna be, oh my God, they're so racist. Why would they put that in the Guinness Book of World Records? Y'all need to stop acting so damn entitled here. So you mean to tell me them coming out with this color, that means we shouldn't include those that are that color? So you trying to tell this person who has those color skin tones here that they're a walking racist? This whole ordeal here would have been racist if it was a white woman testing out these colors, because then we're going to automatically say, oh girl, you're in blackface. But then at the same time, there could be a lot of versatility that can be used with this shade range. That color can be a really good color to put moles on somebody's face. Like someone could probably put that foundation on their eyelids and give us a real cunt eyeshadow look. I would outline it on my lip to give me like a lip liner, but nobody has done it yet. Like y'all don't think of different ways to use things. Y'all are just so fixated on one thing. Let's step out of America. Better yet, let's step out of social media. Y'all really don't see symbolism as y'all go out in the world. Like, have y'all ever noticed that y'all will see some mannequins that are just pitch black? Because there's actually people that are pitch black. And when y'all watch some of these international fashion shows, y'all will see there are darker people than her. Literally. Okay, because I don't know what it is. Europeans, they have this obsession with a pigment like that because it makes things pop out more. Now, y'all try to say, well, why don't they make like a pure white? Because these white people, they're not pure white. If you touch a white person, y'all will see their red undertones pop out. At the end of the day, we all bleed red. Whether I'm black, white, mixed, Indian, we all got red blood, right? And the closest color to red or within is white. I really feel like if they were to ban social media for a week or two and y'all were to step out into the real world, y'all will see so much. Or maybe some of y'all need to get out of America and see who all out here. America is like a crash dummy to these foreigners. These foreigners, they pretty much control America. They tell America what to produce, where to produce it, and how to do it. And if it works well in America, we'll go ahead and bring it down to the foreign countries. So the Europeans, they're trying to sell this to the Africans. Okay, like y'all be on here thinking this is for y'all in America. No, I don't know, for someone who gets her nails done, I can definitely see there's a difference in the colors, you know?
Do me a favor, please. Get out of here. Get out of here, man. Shit, I'm saying.
Look at her face and look at her jacket. People with darker skin complexions exist. That's not the argument. What they're saying is nobody is just plain black. He too is not just plain black, and you can see that much clearer from his forehead and maybe even better in person.
One thing this whole Euphoria debacle is teaching me is that there are still many people who don't understand the difference between color or shade and undertone. No shade, but this very well could be the reason that you were still walking around with ashy looking foundation. To illustrate, I'm going to talk about this foundation right here, the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Foundation. Love the coverage, love the finish. The undertones are just off in deeper shades. They run to red, they run to orange. So what do? I take blue mixing pigment and I mix it with the foundation. Mixing blue with the foundation is not going to get me a color that is darker. It is not going to get me a color that is more brown than what it was before. It is simply going to neutralize the foundation and get me an undertone that works better for me as someone with a neutral undertone. If you gave me brown pigment with no undertones, it would look like mud on my face. Even if you still don't get it, and even if you still don't know anything about this difference, you know who does know? You know who does get it? The people who quite literally have made it their business to know. The brands that make these products.
And here she is talking about it during her pitch. So it's not about knowledge, it's about to whose benefit she decides to use it on.
You have a range of skin tones. This is just a little bit of pink. So if you're not going to interact with any undertones or anything like that, it will come through as the shade that's just most perfect for when you have like a natural flush. But where it's difficult for a consumer is at matching the right undertone or making sure that it's the right shade.
This is going down for me for sure as the biggest inclusivity stain on our community in 2024. Euphoria is a masterclass of what not to do when trying to be inclusive. Our good friend Blair sent us Gloria's video last night right before we went to bed. And our first thought was, this can't be happening again. It's a shade range that's unfortunately missed the mark on inclusivity. This is really disappointing. And then I woke up this morning and I saw Javon's video.
This foundation literally only has as pure black pigment.
My deepest, darkest fear came to life. I am a beauty product developer, and I've been in those rooms where you're formulating the darkest shade. Done this many times at the mass market level, at the prestige level, facilities where the people that are working on darker tones at the request of the brands that they're working with had never actually seen a human of color. Put that color onto human skin. Some of these people have only ever had the opportunity to work on dark, like plastic swatches. I've worked at companies that are international global companies that have flown out humans of color to avoid this exact type of situation. I really don't think they matched it to a human tone during the development process. They would have seen the lack of nuance that is required to bring a complexion shade to life. Product development is centered around intention. You need representation inside those labs to make sure that you can develop the shade ranges that you need if you're not going to bring in outside support. I saw that foundation compared side by side to black pigment. I said, I think that the team at Youthforia wanted to bring the darkest foundation shade to market, as dark as possible, to avoid exactly what's happening right now. But they took that extreme too far. You need to be thorough, you need to be using real human skin. It is a better way to do this. It really is unacceptable to launch a foundation that doesn't have any acknowledgement of tonality on skin.
It's safe to say she missed the mark on this launch.
She definitely missed the mark on this launch. And I think that we all have a responsibility to continue to shape this narrative and continue to shift this narrative.
They just slap it in our face saying, if you want a darkest shade, there you go. Here's the block paint for your face. This is truly a crime. We as South Sudanese, we are one of the darkest people on this planet. And if you cannot find anyone among us to match this shade, just know this is not a foundation, neither a skin tint. And this is just a big shame. It's one thing to make a mistake once, but once you make it twice, it's just a slap in the face. Have we not learned anything?
Well, it is true that most of your darkest complexions are going to come from here, especially in countries like South Sudan, Chad, and also Ethiopia. So it's not racist or lack of exposure to say that the foundation is just plain black, even though these are the kind of influencers we see representing darker complexions, when they themselves are not even that dark. And then there's people that keep saying, oh, if you can't find your perfect shade, then just buy two and try to combine them to find your perfect shade. This is what happens when you do that. First of all, you're buying more than everybody else that can easily find their match. That is expensive because you're now buying two bottles. But even when you do that and try to mix them, you end up with this gray color. Who looks like that? Everybody's so quick to suggest that one of these women will be a complete match for that foundation, and yet they're nowhere near black. What Youthforia did was create an imaginary customer and then went out with an already finished product, because in their head they were probably thinking there's probably one of them that looks like that. They must be. And when they realize that nobody actually looks like that, they try to gaslight us like we are blind, talking about, ooh, it matches his complexion.
A few days ago, I told you guys how stressed I was. I'm looking for a model for the darkest shade of Youthforia foundation days before launch. I don't have enough time to do a full photo shoot. I'm on the other side of the world, street casting and getting ghosted. Alvin and Jack graciously agreed to be our models. We don't have a ton of time. I went to the mall and decided to do a photo shoot at the mall. Here I am trying to be the videographer, but also the makeup artist on set. It was honestly so chaotic, but I found a camera store that agreed to email us a photo. It's just gonna have to. Here's the two darkest shade of Youthforia foundation. 100 is a cool neutral. And Alvin has great skin. I am applying it while holding the camera. It actually blends so easily into his skin. In all of our website photos, we always just do half a face of no makeup, half a face of Youthforia foundation. You can see the before and after, but he has great skin. This undertone was actually perfect. And then Jackson actually was so sweet. The entire time we were just talking about my journey trying to grow Youthforia. He was like, I hope your dreams come true. Same thing here, left side no makeup and right side with foundation. Then we were ready to pop into this passport photo booth and get some photos taken. I was a little bit skeptical about whether or not this would work. Would it match the style of photos that we normally do? But wait, these photos turned out so well. Now our shade grid is finally complete. I'm so excited to launch these 10 new shades.
Anyway, I took a quiz on their website and this is the foundation they matched me to. I am nowhere near this shade, and neither are any of these models. I really hope they got paid at least, because the way she was playing on their head, pretending as though she was actually doing something, dabbing the tiniest bits of foundation like we wouldn't notice, because you know it's not much. And you have the audacity to put it up on your website as before and after. After what exactly?
They should have just called us monkeys. Call me a monkey and go.
Why not take the time to involve these same people you're formulating these shades for in the production process itself?
In order to develop a good product, you need to identify your consumers' needs and wants before going into the lab and making something.
Rihanna saw my picture and she wanted to make sure that Fenty has a shade for my skin tone. There are 10 new shades. $4.98 is based on my skin tone.
There are already people that came before you that did it right. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. Somebody said some Asians want to be so close to whiteness that they will literally do anything to disrespect us just to prove that we are not the same. And I'm beginning to see it now.
I will never be purchasing from a Korean-owned beauty supply store ever again.
Chinese owner of this market does not allow black people to enter.
I was treated so horribly, guys. Like, I would go to the bathroom every day at work and cry.
What kills me the most about this Even New York situation is that black people can give these companies their money. We can make these people be able to eat at night.
That foundation shade is not actually for anyone with dark skin. It in fact exists for the brand to say that their entire makeup line is not actually for anyone with dark skin. They might as well have named the damn shade shoe polish. This shade was released purely out of spite and racism. You cannot convince me that there weren't at least, probably way more, at least 3 people at the absolute highest level in this company who fully intended this shade to be a joke about minstrel shows. Not only are they saying, hey, black women, our line's not for you, but they're also saying, even when we approximate your skin tone, it's actually for white people to then be part of the extremely long and horrific history of painting themselves pitch fucking black to mock your entire race. It's shoe polish. That was their intention. This is not a legitimate foundation shade. It is mockery in response to being called out for trying to make a whites-only makeup brand in 2024.
I don't think this foundation was a mistake at all. I feel like it was made for a certain purpose and that's already been accomplished, which is rage bait. She wanted you to see it. She wanted you to get angry, talk about it, and hopefully it goes viral and it reaches the actual target customers. And once that's done, you would have served your purpose as head of marketing without pay. What we need to do going forward is go where celebrated, support black-owned businesses. I know we have issues there, but we have to start somewhere. And stop asking for inclusivity from people that clearly don't like us.